Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy July 6th. I'm here to give you the astrology report for the week of July 6th through July 12th, 2025. Big week. Big week for us. And the main event is happening on Monday, and that is Uranus entering into Gemini. I have a whole other video about that, and I'll link it in the notes. I would suggest if you watch one, watch the other, because it's going to help uh, put a larger sense of what's going on. So let's start first on the 6th. The 6th on Sunday, we have Venus in the sign of Gemini. It's going to sextile first Saturn in Aries and then Neptune in Aries. And I've talked about this before. Saturn and Neptune are in a conjunction right now. And one of the things that's happening is every time anything is aspecting one of them, it's aspecting the other. And Saturn's always going first right now. And Saturn's going first. It's going to feel a little bit contracting. And then Neptune's just going to help us see that there's this thing that we haven't even considered, and the way through will be found. So Venus in the sign of Gemini is prepping us for Uranus moving into Gemini. Venus, the planet of love and justice and balance, in the sign of the twins, reminding us that all sides and all perspectives matter. And Saturn and Neptune and Aries are going to help us really, if we can, take responsibility for ourselves, take karmic ownership of who we are, but then also to expand and to lift ourselves up and out of whatever limitations that we may have, unbeknownst to ourselves, been harboring. Also on Sunday, we have the sun in Cancer, semi-square Uranus, and Uranus is at 29 degrees 59 minutes, the anaretic degree. And the anaretic degree of Taurus, Uranus is in Taurus, is really, we're going to be feeling some I don't want to change feelings. This is too much. Where is my sense of reality? And a semi-square is a challenge. It's a struggle for balance. And that type of semi-square is going to be a little bit more obvious. It's going to be 3D. Lucky for us, Sun in Cancer is going to help us use our emotional intelligence to be able to navigate the waters of this week and the waters of our world and our bright future. We also have Venus quintile the North Node, and that is very fortunate. So all this is setting us up for the very next day. But Venus, planet of justice and beauty and love, all sides matter in Gemini, North Node, where we're headed collectively. And a quintile is just going to give us a dose of creative inspiration and creative ideas, and we're going to feel like the things are flowing if we're working with the flows of energy. And then we get to Monday we have Venus in Gemini trining Pluto, which is very fortunate because that's our sense of all sides matter, justice and harmony and balance matter. And Pluto's and trine is a fortunate flow of information. Pluto's in ushering us into this process of death and rebirth, transformation in an Aquarian fashion, which is kind of also a little bit Uranian. It's for the collective. It's a little bit revolutionary or a lot revolutionary, depending on how you're looking at it. We also have Mars in Virgo, sesquiquadrate Chiron in Aries, and this is a unique kind of challenge. It's a challenge that's going to be a little bit less obvious, but that's going to be a challenge that's going to be palpably felt energetically by us because Chiron is our own inner world. Chiron is our own chosen challenge in this lifetime because we chose it, because our soul knew that this challenge was going to keep us on the course that our soul wants us to be on. And what's that challenge about? The big event of the week is also happening on Monday. That is Uranus is entering into the sign of Gemini. And like I said, I'm going to put a link to the overview, the deep dive that I do on that because it's such a massive thing, with the caveat for us to consider that, it starts on the 7th and it's going to be very strong throughout the end of this year. But it's worth noting that, Uranus is going to go retrograde at the end of this year, and it's going to enter back into Taurus and then come back into Gemini at the beginning of 2026. So we're going to have a little window of period at the end of 2025 and early 2026 to make some adjustments if we need to around what's coming through right now. But what's coming through right now is so exciting. I said in the video that, Uranus and Gemini is a little bit like if you're playing that game, if you're stranded on a desert island, what would you bring? And you're playing with a bunch of people. You're not going to want to have everybody bring a water bottle. And you're not going to want to have everybody bring a pineapple. You're going to want to have somebody bring a pineapple and somebody bring a water bottle and somebody bring an umbrella and somebody bring a stereo and somebody bring something to catch some fish with. So the diversity of Gemini, the uplifted side of Gemini is the person, as I like to say, in the party who wants to talk to everybody, who's genuinely interested in walking in people's shoes. And so that's a really fortunate thing that's coming for us this week. And it's a fortunate thing, even if it's a little bit unnerving. And as I mentioned in the video, even if some of those times in the past have been a little bit scary in our history, we're living in a very fortunate time right now. And the next event that happens on in that week is on the 8th this week. On the 8th, that's Tuesday. Tuesday, we have Mercury quintiling Uranus. And that's really cool because, you know, Uranus is in Gemini. Gemini is the planet of communication. All sides matter, but it's ruled by Mercury. So quintile is, again, a creative flow of energy, and Uranus is instantaneous. Uranus is revolutionary. Uranus is a mental thought form sign, and it's about revolutionizing in the sense that things that we have not seen before or conceived of are going to be inspiring to us. Democracy began when Uranus was in Gemini, for example. All sorts of technological advancements happened that revolutionized the way humanity lived when Uranus was in Gemini. So to have Mercury, the planet of communication, doing a very creative, inspiring aspect with Uranus itself the day after it heads into Gemini is so fortunate. So fortunate for our own individual communications. And if I could offer any tool for us this week, meditate. Meditate. Meditate when you're walking through the grocery store. It doesn't mean you have to sit in a room with white walls. It means be aware of the energy, be aware of the subtle energy, be aware of the things that might be trying to come through to you. But if the music, if the rock music is too loud, and I love rock music, but if it's too loud and it's too distracting and you're still doing the same thing and you've got your blinders on, you're not gonna be able to see this wonderful little bird over here that's sitting on your windowsill trying to communicate with you and trying to give you a sign to go over there. So this week is a really cool time to open up to messages. The next aspect that comes through is actually on the 10th, which is Thursday. We have Venus in Gemini, semi-sextiling Jupiter in Cancer. And this is subtle energy, a semi-sextile. And depending on what's going on, it could be a little bit awkward, but it could also be just slightly really cool and really positive. And so the theme about Venus and Gemini I've already discussed, which is, you know, justice and balance and harmony and beauty and lots of different perspectives. Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter in Cancer. I did another video on that. Jupiter just went into Cancer. Very fortunate year for emotional intelligence and for intuition and for caring about humanity. So open up to those themes because there's likely things that are going to be coming through this week. And finally, the last aspects we have for this week are on Friday. And Friday we have Mercury biquintile the North Node. And that's also giving us a dose of creativity. A biquintile is a creative sign. North Node is where we're headed. If the North Node is in the sign of Pisces, the anaretic sign, not the anaretic, the last sign of the zodiac, um, it's about remembering all the wisdom of all the experiences that we've had thus far in our lives individually and as being a part of a collective. And so this is about our communications coming through. So Mercury's did a quintile on Thursday, creative energy, and does a biquintile on Friday, more creative energy. And Mercury was first aspecting Uranus, and now it's aspecting the North Node. So again, Mercury itself is stepping in to add to the theme of Uranus in Gemini. Communication, communication, communication. And one of the things that it's come through for me, just separate from sitting down and looking at a chart or thinking about what aspects, telepathic communication has been coming through a lot for me. I think that there's a really strong aspect or chance that part of the communication revolution that's going to be happening is within us. Uranus dictates that. And it's not just going to be mundane emails and texts and, you know, I mean, I love Substack and I love videos and I love all those things. I think that mundane world is so great, but we're going to be able to connect. We are the technology. So even without the quote unquote computer screen or phone screen, telepathic communication, I think, is coming online for us. And I think it's really going to be start to be felt right about now. And so the final aspect that's happening on Friday is Sun and Cancer is trining the North Node. And so that's just adding to the emotional intelligence, to us being able to embody caring about each other and caring about humanity, and remembering that we're all in this together and we're headed towards something that is about remembering the wisdom that, whether or not you believe in past lives, or just things that our ancestors have known. Have a blessed week. I'm so grateful for you. And don't forget to check out the video on Uranus moving into the sign of Gemini. Bright blessings and tons of love.